Well, I got it contoured down here, but as you can see right there, picked up a little bit of an air bubble. And so what I'll do is I'll file that with just like a small drill bit. I'll drill that out just a little bit, and then I'll come back in there. I'll mix up just a little, just a touch of epoxy, just like the end of a toothpick, and I'll mix in some of this dust with it, dab it in there, let it dry, file it down, it'll be done. I'll show you the finished product once I'm done with it all. Alright, this is curing now. You can see that I have filled in the little air bubble hole. What I actually ended up doing was I took some of this plastic metal. It's a Bondo product. I use this because it will dry hard, it dries quickly, and it is shapeable. You can file it. You can see down here what I've done is I just mixed in some of the same brown dye right along with it. Took a little bit more because this Bondo stuff is actually gray instead of clear or yellowish tint, so I had to use a little bit more dye, probably about 3 drops of it. Mixed it up. You got to work fast with it, and I just smeared it in there. Made sure to dab it into the bubble hole, and now I'm just going to let it dry here. Probably in the next 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most, I'll be able to sand that, and I won't have to use a rasp or a file. I can just use some sandpaper on my finger. Doesn't have to be anything special, because it's just cosmetic, and that'll fill in that hole. It'll be the right color, and then once that's done, I'll be ready to go ahead and put everything back together. I'll probably let this cure out for at least another 12 hours before I put the barrel band on and tighten anything down on it, because it's curing as we speak, and because it's the next morning from whenever I originally mixed the epoxy and applied it. And here you can see this is after I've sanded the stock down a good bit and the repaired area. Get it focus here. You can see right there where it's been repaired. The lighter area is where I did a patch job just on the air bubble. Of course, that won't be seen once the barrel band and everything is in and on. Now, this is after 1 coat of True Oil from Birchwood Casey, and this is not really a pigmented. It's more of just gives you a shine. And so what I'm going to do is I have got some stain. Got a couple different color stains I'm going to try out. It doesn't even have to match perfectly. All I want to do is just darken this light area from the sanding, just that right there, and it's all going to be covered up anyways, but I want it to be a little darker than that. So I'm going to stain that just a little bit, put a little stain over this, and then I'll buff it down with some steel wool and remove the masking and put it back together. Let that coat dry. We'll hit it again. I'll show you. You can see there where the light area is. That's what I'm working to darken up. And then where I went on around, I'm just going to use this to blend. I'll be sanding that a little bit just to blend the color. And here you can see the coat's getting darker and darker there in that area. Just go through and apply a little bit, let it sit for 10-15 minutes, and just make sure it doesn't dry on there. You don't want to let it dry, but let it sit on there, let it stain it, and then you'll come back in and just with a paper towel or something, just wipe it off and wipe it with the grain. Then reapply if you need to, and it's just a little bit of a process. Depending on the color that you get and how dark the pigment is, you may need to do less or more of the applications. Had I had this stock with me to match it up exactly, I wouldn't have to do as many coats. I don't know how well you can see. I don't want to tilt this too much, but this coat, this color that I've got here is not, it's not actually the right color for this stock, but for what we're doing here and just the fact that it's going to be covered up, I just wanted to get a little color on it. So it'll be just fine for what we're doing here. Right there you can see a little bit of the difference in color there. That area there, that is epoxy. A little bit of it came out, but that's all right. But it is finished. See what was happening was right here where this was worn down, and the wood was worn down. The screw clamps right here and it's responsible for keeping this whole barrel band from going forward. Well, since that area was notched out, this can only clamp down so far because of the width of this buckle here, and it was allowing this to fall down into that notch, and it wasn't clamping properly, so this was falling off, and in turn the entire upper forearm cover there was coming off. So hopefully here, after doing these repairs here, it should take care of everything. We'll see. Like I say, I'll give you a little bit different view here. Crank down my tripod. Alright, and you can see right in there a little bit of the epoxy. Not too much, but it turned out alright. Wood here, I mean, yeah, like I say, not too bad. I'll take it out and I'll shoot it a little bit. Basically, I'm going to shoot it till it breaks there again, or doesn't. One of the things that I did here on the rear, this recoil pad that they put on here, it actually, excuse the camera work here, it's secured by a single center screw. It's the screw that kept the original butt plate on. Well, you can see where it's bulged right here. That's where the original, that's where the screw is. They just give you an extended one. Well, this thing was real bad. There's no way to keep it from twisting. You twist any way it wanted to, no matter what you did with the screw. So while I had some of that epoxy mixed up, even though it is brown, I had tinted it brown, I wasn't going to mix up other epoxy for the purposes that we have here, because this gun is a gun to be used. It's not a collection piece or anything like that. So I just used the brown, and I dabbed a little bit of epoxy all the way around the outside there, and it has secured it very, very well, and we'll see how good it holds up. It should have absolutely no issues. See if I can get zoomed in here where you can see the brown. Yeah, you can see right in there. Right in there. There's a little bit of brown. But all in all, it turned out all right. And that is the M1 Carbine.